Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Braxton Tinsley here with my good friend Stephen Jackson with AmeriPro. Now Stephen is the area manager for AmeriPro, but not only that, he's also my personal loan originator and loan officer. I send all my family, my personal friends to him, and the reason is because I know that we've been working together for several years now, going on 5 years, and the communication is always there. Whether it's 11 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, he has to leave a dinner to get me an approval letter. Just happened several times. It gets done. So when it comes to the marketplace and the knowledge in it, he's definitely a very valuable source. So Stephen, on that subject, what, and you know in the marketplace right now, what is some advice that you would give somebody that is looking to buy a home that currently owns?
I would say preparation. Preparation is key, and there's two sides to that. When you're looking at buying a house, if you're trying to sell a home, you really need to evaluate the situation on what the value is of your property. I say that as a lender, not because an agent's sitting here next to me, and Braxton does a fantastic job, but get Braxton with you. Let him tell you what your house is truly worth, from a best case and worst case scenario, because you need to know at the end of the day what you feel you're going to take home after paying whatever closing costs that you typically have to pay at closing, worst case scenario. And the reason for that is then you'll know what you can bring in when you're trying to buy your new home. Because the second part to that is Zillow and all the other sites like homes.com are about 60 to 70% accurate. So no one's going to be able to stop you from going online. It happens. But at the end of the day, where that value is, these guys are going to be able to tell you what they can bring you based on the accurate sales. The second piece of that, and I feel it's the most important part, and I will tell you I'm saying it because I am a lender, and I see it. People are losing out on winning homes because they're not prepared financially. They do not get their documentation in on time to get approved up front. And there's a difference between being pre-approved and actually being approved. We here locally are an actual lender that will fully underwrite your loan through underwriting. And a perfect example of this is I have a very dear friend who called me a month ago and said, we're going to start looking for a house. I said, okay. 1 week went by, 2 weeks went by, 3 weeks went by. They called me Tuesday night. Hey, I'm going to look at a house tomorrow. I said, you haven't even filled out my application you said 3 weeks ago. I know, I've been busy. I've been getting ready for blah, 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 blah. My kids, all this stuff. I said, but seriously, you're going to look at a house tomorrow? What if you fall in love with it? I don't know. I said, why don't I come see you tomorrow after you get off work? Okay, 4 o'clock. Drove to her employment, sat with her at 4 o'clock, went through the application myself. She filled out half of it. I completed it with her. Ran her credit. Known her for 20 years. Saw her credit. Credit was good. So I knew her job. Been on her job forever. She knew her income. I at least pulled up her pay stub. I could eyeball it. I could tell that she would pre-qualify. But I really needed to see a lot of other stuff. She didn't have the time to pull it. Before long, she had 10 minutes to go look at the house. So I went with her. Well, of course, we walked in. She falls in love with it. Falls in love with it.
Every time.
And she wanted to make an offer. So she says, what do I do? I said, well, I can give you a letter, but the letter basically says you're pre-qualified, and that really doesn't mean anything because I haven't looked at your income and assets. So if we would have done this 3 weeks ago, you could have been prepared. And secondly, her agent even told her, your house isn't even listed yet. So this selling agent won't even accept our offer. So again, it goes back to what I said. Preparation is really the key.
That's huge, guys. And I know a lot of people are, a lot of people like to talk to their local banks that they work with, Chase, JP Morgan, Wells, Fargo, etc. The amount of service that you're going to get from somebody like Stephen, the fact that you actually went out there, man, and walked her through the house so that you could coach her through that little bit emotional roller coaster that was going to come that way.
That doesn't happen at the big places on the street.
Oh, that's huge, and that's why we call on you. Now, as somebody getting docs together and things like that, when to reach out to you, When would you tell them to do it? Like if they're looking out and they want to buy, let's say January, when should they make contact with you?
You know, if it's a situation where they're saving money over time, we can actually determine. I would still get all their income and information now, and I would coach them, and I would say, look, if you're trying to buy in 6 months, that's great. And then I would give them advice on the things to do and not to do over the next 6 months. And then I would also coach them on how much they need to save over the next 6 months, if that's the situation in mind. And then I explain to them that when they're usually within 30 days out from closing, or they finally get a contract within 45 days to 30 days out from closing, we get updated information. And the whole key to this is to make sure that we get their loan actually underwritten up front for them. We're unique in that while they're shopping for a property, as long as I have pay stubs that are 30 days old, I can underwrite their file for them while they're shopping for a property. And then once they get a contract, if that loan's been underwritten, we can close that file for them very, very quickly, within 3 weeks from the time of the contract. We do it all the time, Braxton and I have. And that's the part that the sellers love, because the loan can actually be pre-underwritten while they shop for a property. And the big banks will not do that. A lot of times they won't even look at the file until the contract comes in. So underwriters are just different at different places. We pride ourselves on service. We don't pride ourselves on checking accounts and bank accounts. We actually pride ourselves on making mortgages. It's the main thing that we do. And we pride our relationships on building that with good experiences with realtors.
Very true, bud. Well, guys, if y'all ever have any questions, reach out to Steven. We'll put his contact down below for you guys.
Yeah.
And we hope y'all are having a wonderful day. Enjoy the upcoming weekend, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.